What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rip City Rundown. We have the trade deadline review podcast for you. It's just the two of us. We're recording this at 3:49 Eastern time, so just 49 minutes post the trade deadline officially passing. Um, this is our not quite initial reaction. We thought about it a little bit, but this is still a pretty early reaction. We could have a different opinion in the coming days, but the Blazers made moves, and we're gonna talk about them. I don't know, Wes. What do you want to start off with? Like, just if you had to give a grade, I don't know. Can you even do that?
Um, Hard because I was actually kind of fine with the trade deadline before the GP move. Um, the GP move is kind of
Kind of
surprising.
soured the deadline for me
Yeah,
personally.
it's only because I just don't like GP for 5 seconds. Like, first of all, the amount of second round picks just flying around the league is kind of funny. But
I didn't even know it was like
um,
you were allowed to send that many picks in a
yeah,
row, but
I get a lot of people are upset at the fact that the Blazers did not get significantly better. I will say I think we have more assets now. And I think this is the Blazers are kind of portraying that they are going to try to do something in the summer, which kind of sucks. But also, like, I feel like as soon as Katie went to Phoenix, like, you're not just going to sell. You're not just going to sell the future right now just to because you're not beating Phoenix. You would literally need a bunch of pieces to beat Phoenix.
yeah,
So
I mean, no matter what we did, we were never gonna like really be a contender.
it is funny though that the Lakers got Bamba and Vanderbilt.
Yeah, the Lakers just snatched
Damn the
to probably the
Lakers.
two guys I wanted most.
Yeah. I mean, let's get through each deal. Okay, so
I
Josh
want to
Hart.
quickly say that another thing with the Blazers came out, we have waived Greg Brown. Just unfortunate. We've had our Greg Brown moments on the podcast, but yeah, we're waiving
Yeah,
him. I didn't
okay,
know we had to
that's
still
fine.
waive somebody, but no, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
let's go through the deal. So Josh Hart for Cam Reddish, Ryan Arcidiacono, Svi Mikhailuk, and a first that's protected. So although the Knicks will probably make the playoffs, so that
Especially
first,
with the Josh, they're
yes,
picking up Josh.
yes. So that first will probably be ours by the time the year's over.
Hmm.
Um, I was chill with that move. Obviously, people were upset, I guess, that Cam Reddish is not good. And it's like, I'm like, what are you gonna get for the fact we got a first for Josh Hart is impressive in
Yeah, I
my
think
opinion. I'm cool with that.
the thing I saw a lot was national media, people from outside of Portland were saying how this was a very solid deal. You get something for a guy you're probably going to lose. The fact that they got a first, like you said, is pretty surprising. Um, but the people in Portland are like, bad trade doesn't help us win now. And I just wish the front office would actually come out and say it and say like, we're going all in the summer. Well, they can't say that
Yeah,
actually
you,
because
you
like
can't because then you just give so much leverage to other
yeah, but
teams.
I just like wish somehow like they would say like we're building it up for the summer and like if we don't
Yeah,
do
but
anything then come after us. I know you
you
can't.
have
Know
to
you literally can't do that,
you
but
have to assume that that's what a GM is trying to do. But I get why Blazer fans are so paranoid because the guy who was in charge for the last decade didn't do that.
yeah,
And now people are grading Neil on the same level as grading Cronin, and Cronin's had a year, 6 months, a year.
yeah, it's about a year. Yeah.
So it's like I don't know. People need
No,
to.
I'm just like I just straight up. I know like on Twitter and stuff we've been very like we've liked the trades. I think other than the GP trade on an individual level, all the trades are solid. I will say though, like this is not a successful deadline in my opinion.
No,
I honestly don't know if there truly was a clear path to a successful deadline in the first place. I think that like sure we could have if we could have got Bamba, if we could have got Vanderbilt, if we could have not overpaid for a good three, then yeah. But that Kevin Durant trade just I don't even know how it changed. I just know it changed something probably within the Blazers. Um, we don't move on from Nurk, which is a very interesting thing, and I think as time got closer and closer, like I was like, okay, we're gonna keep him, especially with the quote coming out that he said like Joe told
Yeah.
him that he wasn't gonna get traded.
Yeah. And I want people to realize that we're not pro Joe Cronin. We're not like we're just like we're
I
just
have more
trying
of an
to
understanding
be
now that like
neutral. Just there's so many people who are anti Joe Cronin right now because he's not trading for OG. But then it's like, okay, if we had traded for OG, you probably would have had to overpay for him, and then people would say, "Oh, Blazers got fleeced," and it's no one can be happy, and that's fine, and you just have to accept that there's going to be some really just dumb people out there, and it's fine. But yeah, I was getting pretty upset today. Not just like I don't know what people are expecting. Like you
yeah,
can't
especially
just
just like this season in general, like where people actually like we go back to it from the beginning, like were people expecting us to like I it does stink that Dame's having such a good year and we're 27 and 28, but like I'm not mad about where we're at because this is like how I expected. If we were a better team, if we were 37 and not 37, that would put us at the top of the list. If we were say like 34 and 24 and we didn't make any moves, then I would be like, okay, we kind of have a window here. We can maybe go on a run here because we clearly are showing that we're good, but I don't think there was any type of move. Like people saying we should have done the Kevin Durant trade. If you take out, you probably are trading Simons, Hart, Sharp, picks, and Nasir. You're trading so much,
we
and
don't have picks.
that we can't strip our team to the point that Phoenix is, because or Phoenix isn't even stripping their team. They kept their three best players. You could argue Mikel's better than
Aiden.
three big cornerstones of their team. We would not have had that.
I'm taking Bridges over Aiden and Paul, but
Yeah, that's why I said that's why I was like,
yeah, but
but like
yeah, no,
yeah,
Phoenix had a chance, and the Blazers aren't at that level yet. Like when people are like, why didn't the Blazers get Durant? How are the Blazers going to compete with four unprotected picks, Bridges, Cam Johnson,
yeah.
and Jay Crowder? Like you
Who
can't
just
compete
over
with that.
time, I was just like, I'm kind of glad we didn't get Jay Crowder. I feel like he's like,
He also went for 5 seconds. Like, dude,
uh,
5
Sadiq Bey went
seconds.
for 5 seconds.
I don't get the
Or
five.
no,
Like,
James Wiseman, or
I'm
both of them.
confused. Okay, but pretty much we trade
Out goes Hart.
out goes Hart, GP2, and Makai Luke.
Well, no, we got Luke from Hart,
Well, yeah, but then we
but it all originated from Hart. So it's literally just like Hart and GP
for
for
a first Cam Reddish with T Stiebel in 5 seconds.
and technically still Ryan Arcidiacono,
Oh, and Archie Diacono, baby.
who was a dog in college, by the way. I feel like we not trade
He
one more
sucks.
player? No, we traded the second round pick and we threw out a second
Yeah,
along the way.
but I don't know, man. I mean, in a way, it's when you're like, okay, you're sending out GP2 and you're bringing in Thibault, but you're also bringing along pretty much 4 second round picks because you had to send one out and you got 5 back. I mean, they're kind of the same player.
Yeah,
Thibault's probably a
this is how
better
I look at it. I think Thibault and GP's a little better offensively, but GP clearly there was just like something was not like he didn't fit in Portland. Like there
I
was just
swear,
something
dude. Warriors
which just
players come over
stinks.
to Portland and just sell so they can go back. That's what Azili
But
did.
but you can look at it as we got a free 5 seconds because it felt like GP had never even left the Warriors in the first place. That's what I saw
Yeah.
someone on Twitter. I was like, I tweeted, I was like, all right, Cronin haters, this is you finally win. This is a trade I don't agree with either. The only thing is because someone said like that. But on
Anyway,
a individual basis, is there a deal that you technically liked the most? I mean, it's between the Thibault and the
Hart.
Hart.
I would probably say the Hart deal
I think so too.
because I can see it being the case where obviously you get a first, that's an asset, and then hopefully Dame can kind of mentor Cam Reddish. I'm not saying Cam Reddish turns into a viable starting caliber player, but I think swinging on Cam Reddish is good because I think there's a very high chance by the time he leaves Portland, he will have higher trade value than what he just had. So hopefully
Yeah.
you're making a net positive there because I think Cam Reddish's stock was so low. Dude, we got him and a first for Josh Hart on an expiring contract.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up
So
Cam Reddish's
we're still small. We
like
got long.
for
We got a little longer.
you guys remember Cam Reddish in the playoffs, he played 4 games in that Hawks run to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm.
23 minutes a game. He averaged 12 points a game, 3 rebounds on 53% from the field, 64% from three.
Look. It's we're now going Dame, Ant, Nas, Grant, Nurk with Eubanks, with Winslow if he's healthy, Reddish, Thibault.
Sharp.
Sure. It's like, who am I
Yeah, I was like,
forgetting?
we need someone that can score the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. But the point is, I don't think the Blade. I'm really not that mad to be honest.
I'm not mad. I'm just like, I'm neutral.
And
I'm like, I don't think
I'm
we got worse
honestly,
or better.
I'm
I really don't
indifferent
think we got
because
that worse.
I'm indifferent because the Blazers were not going to be judged by the timeline, or sorry, by the trade deadline. We're going to be Joe Cronin will be judged in the summer. Here's a perfect example. Last year at the trade deadline, we're trying to get Jeremy Grant, and news is that like we kind of might have to overpay for him. We just wait till the summer and get him on a little bit of a better deal. Who knows? That could happen with OG. That could happen with Mikal Bridges. It won't happen with Mikal Bridges, but I'm just saying, like,
That's definitely guys it could happen with, for sure.
yeah, like the net, or it's not the Nets. The Raptors became buyers for some reason. Like they got Pirtle.
Yeah,
So I
very
guess
weird to
they're
see
trying
the
to get
Raptors not sell anybody.
the like,
Same the
but yeah.
Bulls.
Well, I'm just like from a Raptor standpoint, you're now kicking the can down the road with OG. So I think I
And
want to say that plan kind of backfired.
he's definitely losing value because he's
Yeah.
gonna get closer and closer to when he's gonna have to get paid. So
Yes, exactly. So I think if you're the Blazers, you revisit that in the summer. You have some assets in the summer. Hopefully, a few guys continue to play
yeah.
well. Whether that's Sharp, maybe Reddish finds a second wind. Because if we're being honest, for Cam Reddish, he's burned out in 2 places. So if you burn out in 3,
You're
probably not
done.
gonna get a fourth chance. So
Yeah.
hopefully he comes locked in.
And
Um,
I don't want to be blind to the fact that yeah, he's burned down 2 places, but he also hasn't had like a steady place where he can make mistakes and still keep playing. He's kind of had a very short leash. I don't want to say he's not going to get that, but I think like you have to give him a long leash if you want to justify this hard trade in the eyes of the fans. Not that they
I
care, but
mean, if you're looking at, I don't know, right now, it's really Phoenix,
Denver,
Denver, probably the Clippers at this point. They got
who
they
they
got
get?
Bones Highland. That was a weird one.
Yeah,
Thomas Bryant to the Nuggets, dude. The
I have
Western
not
Conference is
been
going.
like really following the Nuggets closely, but from everything I've read, Highland has been the worst defender in the NBA and like can't shoot recently. I would not have known that given the fact that he shoots the ball well against the Blazers, but
Yeah, yeah,
um
but
I think trying to think about how I want to word this. I think that like joke for everyone saying that it's the same thing Neil said, they have a point, but the main difference between Joe and Neil is Joe at least has made a big move before. Joe's made the 2 biggest transactions in the last, what, 5, 10 years for the Blazers, and it's trading CJ and trading Norm and Cove. So
nice. Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like he's made, and everyone can clown him for like for the people saying like the CJ deal's bad, the Norm deal's bad. I can't really say they have been. They weren't bad deals. I
I
think
thought the
that
CJ deal ended up working out.
I think the CJ deal was great, personally. You
Well, yeah,
know,
because you got Jeremy from it, and you got another first round for Hart.
yeah. You're getting Reddish. You got Jeremy, Reddish, first for CJ McCollum, who was at the time probably looked at as having one of the worst contracts in the league. So
And now that's Nurk. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
I can't lie and say I'm excited right now about
No,
what we did.
no, but I'm not
But
making my final call.
I'm not burn down the front office and fire Joe.
No, and for the people who think Joe Cronin's a bad GM, like how can you come to that conclusion a year in when you like we all like Olshey was given
Oh, we
10.
got Kevin Knox too.
Carry on.
Well, that just shows how little I care about that. That's funny.
I mean, look, here's the difference. Or here's where Joe Cronin is going to be like this is where it when I don't know how to say this, but when right now the Blazers are in asset accumulation mode. When the opportunity presents itself to swing, go for it. That's when it's going to matter. Like right now, like what player could we have gotten right now that it's going to make us a championship contender that we realistically can get and have the best package for?
Yeah.
Maybe OG if you're throwing.
Yeah,
like,
I just don't think right now we were ever gonna be able to make
exactly.
other than like we did what I expected to do. We just didn't get the players I expected to get. We made
These
small
Twitter
moves around
GMs,
the
man.
edges.
These Twitter GMs think that every player is available for whatever
Well,
price they
actually,
want.
wait. I might have actually
Oh.
predicted we were gonna not predicted we were gonna get Reddish, but no, I didn't. Never mind.
You remember the like leading up to the trade deadline, we were all like talking about Bamba, Vando, we were talking about Gafford, we were talking about Noel, and then you were like, it's going to be someone who we haven't talked about at all. That was Thibault.
Hadn't talked about Thibault at all. Reddish, we actually did talk about a little bit. I honestly didn't really see a world where GP was going to end up getting traded just because. But I think,
The
but
fact is just
once we
fact it's
back to the
back to the
Warriors, it's so
Warriors,
annoying.
bro. Back to the Warriors.
Um, of the
It's
guys,
kind of funny though. You know, it is kind of funny. Like when you think about it, GP gets to go back, and like you can get mad at GP because he like kind of I don't know if he gave his all here and he gets to go back to a nice little easy situation where he's got all his homies, so it's kind of annoying. But the Warriors were like in the offseason, we don't want to pay GP2. Blazers like,
legendary finesser.
Blazers are like, we'll pay him, and then we'll just give him back to you at the contract that we paid him for 5 picks.
You know, I gotta say the Warriors, like, good job by GP and the Warriors on that because, hey, you can find value in the second round, but I'm just
No,
saying,
I was
like,
saying good job for us.
oh, I think at the end of the day, if we did this in the off season, like we signed him just to get our 5 first round picks, then sure. But
Second,
like it's just
not
like the
not
way
not not first.
second round picks, just the way it went down was just so odd. Played what
Yeah,
13, 14 games with us.
but it honestly makes sense because once you got Thibault, it was like those are kind of
Yeah,
the same
that's why I was like
players.
I could see that
Um,
end up going down.
so where do the Blazers go from here? Because like people are gonna say we have no chance this season, and in a way they're kind of
Yeah,
right. Like, are we
like we
still
don't
competing for the postseason here?
we're absolutely still going to compete for the postseason, I think.
Dude,
Um,
I'm just saying the Blazers are
even though that
still.
would be an interesting little twist. Not saying we tank, but if we ended up getting a lottery pick, it's another big asset. Because, like, let's be honest, we're not winning anything big this year. I don't have confidence we'll win in the
I
first
was gonna
round.
say that the only chance that we're like,
Interesting.
look, it's the Suns to lose. To be honest, they still need to be healthy. Like,
Still need to like just. I think
there's gonna be
They'll
one or
work
two
better. Yeah.
teams. There's one or two teams every postseason that literally crash and burn out of the playoffs, and then you go check the temp over there. What players are available?
Yeah. Who
You
could
know,
that be? Who could
like
that
the
be?
Cavs. The Cavs just burn out. The Cavs
Eh.
drop in the first round. Jared Allen, come to Portland.
Maybe like the Clippers. Go get
Yeah,
Paul
but
George.
or like
Buy low on PG.
low key like the Grizz.
Who I guess yeah, Jaren maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
That's
I
an
would
interesting.
freaking
That would be
love Jaren
insane.
Jackson
That's an
Jr.
interesting. That's it's impossible to predict though. So
Genuine question: would you trade like would you be willing to part ways with Grant and whatever for Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Depending on whatever is, then yeah. But yeah, I would take
Well, I don't want to make a stupid one where it's like Grant a first and oh that's an over. Like I don't know what it would be,
yeah.
but like would
I think Jaren's probably more valuable to us
the
than
price
Grant.
is right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
a
I
guy
don't know,
that was
man.
a guy that was rumored to us that we ended up not getting, James Wiseman. Are you glad we did not? Would you rather have gotten James Wiseman or 5 second round picks?
That
Because
first round.
he ended up going for 5 second round picks anyway.
If they equate to the same thing, then I would probably rather have Wiseman just because he's
I would say
big
yeah.
in his size.
Yeah. I mean, guys with size.
Okay.
If you know,
I
you know.
I said I like guys with size. Big pause, but the Blazers need to like guys with size too. Right now we have no size.
Yeah, we got no guys with size. Um, Look, I don't like my expectations for the season have not changed at all because of this trade deadline. My opinion of Joe Cronin, honestly, has not changed at all.
You know what, like this deadline struck me as like when I envisioned what Joe Cronin was doing, he was probably like, I'm just gonna I'm gonna win these trades from a value standpoint, like future value standpoint. And what I mean by that is he probably he probably had every intention of keeping GP2. And then he was like, maybe, the Sixers were going after Jalen McDaniels. Charlotte wanted something, but they needed a third team involved. So Joe Cronin was like what? Like, how can I help? Oh, if you give us a second, we'll give you Thibault. And he's like, that's a great deal. Sure, let's do it. And then he's like, now that I have Thibault, let's pivot. Now let's get value for GP2. Like, I don't think he went in to the trade deadline being like, okay, I'm gonna go get Thibault, and then like I think he's just very reactionary, and it's just with each individual deal wants to get value. I think he
Um,
did that.
yeah.
I don't think we got. I don't think we got better as a team. I think we're pretty new. I think we probably stayed the same.
Yeah.
Like people are saying we got worse. In my opinion, I don't think that's true
I
because
think we stayed the same.
Thibault is probably low key going to be more valuable than GP2 because
Especially just by
GP2
playing
was
too.
averaging what, zero point 0.4 points a game. Oh my gosh, Thibault's going to take 1 3 and miss horribly. He'll play better defense. He's bigger. He's longer. He's a better defender. He just is.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's better than GP2, and then I think Reddish for his role. Everyone was complaining that Josh can't shoot. Like Josh is a great rebounder. That's fair. Cam Reddish, well, one thing he can do,
I
at
do
least that I
think
know.
rebounding, now that I think about it, rebounding, well, I think is going to be a major struggle now.
Hey, Nas is gonna have to be big.
Yeah. Already having like the limited bigs, Grant not really being a rebounder. That's an interesting point.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't really want to judge the team from like on the floor perspective. I'd rather just judge the front office. And I mean, look, the Blazers also shed salary. I mean, again, I get it's so annoying that we're talking about the Blazers saving 5 million in salary cap, and oh, we got some second round picks, and no, we got a first round. Blazers fans are tired of that. We want the big name, but
Hmm.
but Neil, over the years, he would do the same thing, just work around the edges to create the opportunity, but he would just never pull the trigger. He would never pull the trigger on the big move.
Hmm.
Joe is in that accumulation step. You cannot judge the man yet. Like he has to get the assets. If he gets all
Hmm.
these assets and then does nothing about it and sits on his hands, then we can fire Joe Cronin. We can go protest in the streets about how Joe Cronin should not have a job.
Hmm.
But it's just like people need to understand that your reaction, like I'm gonna remember your reaction when you're like, oh my gosh, Cam Reddish in a first. So bad for Josh Hart, who's on an expiring deal, by the way. What if that
Hmm.
first is used in an OG trade in the summer? Now all of a
Hmm.
sudden you're like, damn, that's a big first because we didn't have any because the former GMs are dumb.
I
Because we
think
can't swap because of the Bulls thing with Nance or whatever.
the Blazers front office is in a honestly probably a terrible position. They are because they have Damian Lillard, who they owe one big opportunity to win a
That
championship.
that's
And
the
it's not
look.
gonna it's
That's
gonna
the
turn
elephant in the room. That's the elephant in the
it's
room.
not good for team building. If a completely new GM came in, I bet if we had hired a new GM that wasn't from in-house, I have a strong feeling that they would be taking calls for Damian Lillard left and right to wipe their hands clean and figure out what they want to do. But Joe Cronin has been with the Blazers in some role since like 2005 or something. He wants to give Damian Lillard a chance. There is going to be a season, whether that is next season or the next, most likely next season, where he is going to try to give Damian Lillard the best chance he's ever had to win a championship. And it probably is going to hurt us in the long run.
That
But
is the elephant in the
I
room.
see 0% chance that Dame never gets his big opportunity. He just got to be
Yeah.
patient. Because if Joe Cronin doesn't do that, that is like,
Low key, that's
can't even think about it.
probably why he even got the job.
Yeah.
Like that is the elephant in the room that I feel like people. It's just the elephant in the room. Like imagine if Dame asked out long term, that'd probably be great for the Blazers.
Hmm.
You know, a haul for Dame would get, bro.
Yeah.
But you owe it to him, and
And it's
we
really
obviously
hard.
want to.
It's really hard to be a GM right now for the Blazers when everyone around the league knows you're desperate to get Dame talent. He has to be so meticulous and accumulating his talent like he kind of is doing right now. So you have to look at it from all of that. I don't want to try to make excuses, but that's literally kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and again, like I said, the Neil thing, he took years to accumulate stuff, never pulled the trigger. And so you got to give Joe a chance to have an opportunity to pull the trigger. And then like people look at teams like the Suns, for example, they're like, well, how come the Suns were able to go get Kevin Durant? Because they were freaking trash for years.
And they just got new ownership too, which is very
And they got
interesting.
new ownership, but they drafted Booker, they drafted Aiton, they got Bridges in a draft night steal.
Yeah. And they
And then
but
they signed Paul.
they no, they traded for CP3. They made a risky trade and like traded like a first round pick and salary filler, but no one wanted him because he was 36 and aging and on a bad contract, which is still like technically a bad contract, but like that's exactly what they needed.
But they hit in the draft, they accumulated talent, and then they pulled the trigger when they needed to, and
And
they have a
people were
window.
clowning the Cam Johnson draft, including myself, back when they drafted Cam Johnson 11th overall.
Yeah,
Infamous moment for me.
I will say though, like if the Nets, I think the Nets are the team to watch coming in, the Nets and Raptors come going into the summer because the Nets have or not OG, Raptors have OG. Nets have Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Royce O'Neal,
Paxton.
Claxton. But I'm just saying from like a wing
Yeah,
perspective,
yeah, yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
Blazers need a three.
Hmm.
If the Blazers, I'm gonna say it right now, if the Blazers got Mikal Bridges and a decent big, like call it decent starting big,
Just yeah,
you know,
a classic Miles Turner. We'll just say that.
yeah,
Yeah,
good ass team.
yeah.
I don't know. It it's frustrating. I'm frustrated. I am.
I feel like
But
I'm not frustrated. I don't know what I am though.
but people were like,
Just
if this
pondering.
is all, if this is the after the Josh Hart move, if this is the only move, I am going to kill Joe Cronin. He
It's
made more moves, people.
yeah.
I actually like the Thibault trade, bro.
I first off, I love Thibault
Asking him to
as a guy.
score.
First off, Thibault. Remember Thibault in the bubble, his vlogs? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And he's a good guy. I like Cam Reddish. I liked him at Duke. I root for UNC, and I really liked Cam Reddish at Duke. He's got one of the silkiest jump shots ever. Look, Dame, we all talk about how great of a leader Dame is and how much of a NBA player whisperer he is. Look, Nurk was not good when he came, and Nurk turned into a very good center. Not very, very good, a
No,
very
he's
solid
decent.
NBA center. If we have all this chatter that Dame is the best leader in sports, trust him to get Cam Reddish's talent out of him. Maybe.
Huh?
I said if Dame is the so-called best leader in sports,
Yeah.
then give him some chime and trust him to get some talent out of Cam Reddish, get some production out of him. So
Yeah, I mean, how about this deal? I was just going through Woj's timeline. This is the biggest NPC deal of the whole deadline. The Hawks are trading Justin Holiday and Frank Kaminsky to Houston for Garrison Matthews and Bruno Fernando. At least we're
Oh
not the
my gosh.
Rockets
No, there's
because the
some.
Rockets
Oh, the
suck and they
Rockets traded back for John Wall. And did you see the interview John Wall did when he was trashing how bad the Rockets like just thing is?
I know
Well, um, okay, what was I about to say? Shoot, I was about to bring something up.
something about the summer or something about trades. Obviously,
I don't know. I don't know.
the Warriors.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Well,
Shh.
as of right now, the Blazers are the
Um,
10 seed.
is Kevin Knox going to crack the rotation?
I hope not.
I hope he does in a good way though. Hope he somehow turns it around. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
someone posted the depth chart for the Blazers now, or just like they're 1 through 15 in man. So it's Dame, Simons, Nas, Jeremy, Nurk. Off the bench, you got Eubanks, Shaden, Cam Reddish, Thibault, Winslow. Then you got still have Trendon, Keon, Jabari. Okay. Keon of all people, I thought Keon had a very high chance of getting traded. Very surprised he actually did not. I think other than Hart, I thought Keon was most likely, given the fact that
the
he's
fact it was
there's
GP2 is crazy.
just such a finesse.
Listen to this tweet. Lakers went from having Russell Westbrook and no trade assets to Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, D'Lo, Mo Bamba, and Rui Hachimura.
Dude, I think the Lakers had a good trade deadline, but like that's just a bunch of just average players. I guess that's what you need around LeBron and AD. But Blazers trade deadline, if I had to give a 1 out of 10, I'm giving it like a 4 or 5. It's doing nothing for me. It's just making the
Yeah,
anticipation even.
I'll go 5. It's 5.
I'm just in,
Like,
I'm ready for the offseason. I'm still ready for the Blazers to make the plan. I still fully believe they'll make the plan and then possibly make the playoffs. I still think that's
bro,
in
listen
the
to this.
not some
This is kind of
crazy thing.
this is a lot of players, but so many players move teams. So just listen to this.
Mhm.
We got Katie to the Suns, Kyrie to the Mavs, Bridges and Cam to the Nets, D'Lo Lakers, Finney Smith Nets, Dinwiddie Nets, Luke Kennard to the Grizzlies, GP2 back to the Warriors, Crowder to the Bucks for 5 second-round picks. Oh my gosh. Pirtle to the Raptors, Conley to the T-Wolves, Vanderbilt Lakers. I mean, just to read out some obvious ones or some ones that I was surprised by. Let's see. Who is that? Is that KCP to the Lakers? No.
Malik
Who is
Beasley, Vanderbilt.
No, it's in the Thomas Bryant deal.
Oh, it was like Devon Brown or something. Devin
Devon
Brown. No,
Reed.
Devon Reed. Just the salary filler. Thomas
Dude, how
Bryant.
about Pat like
Oh my gosh.
Pat
How about Pat Bev tweeting gangs back together to uh to
but like
D'Lo and then
for the
gangs not
Magic,
together anymore.
but like for the Magic, Pat Bev from Bomba straight
He
up.
has to be expiring. He has to be. And even if he isn't, like the Blazers could have easily. This is one of
Like
those where
where
like
I don't okay, that's one where I don't get it. You just got like
flip
well,
a
you're not
second,
giving
flip
him a
two
you're not giving him a
seconds.
first. Dude, just reroute the 5 second round
Okay,
picks. No one
well,
gives
we
a
probably had to
about
get.
picks.
Okay, here's what the Magic was thinking. Before I say this, I'm going to confirm Patrick Beverley's contract because if Patrick Beverley has years on his salary, then that's kind of Patrick Beverley contract. 1 year, 13 million. Yeah, okay, so he's an unrestricted free agent this summer. And then Mo Bamba's contract is 2 years, 10 million. Okay, so the Blazers would have had to trade somewhere in the $10 million range. I don't think the Blazers really had other than Hart, I don't know who they could have traded for him. I guess if they were going to trade GP2, yeah, they could have traded GP2 to the Magic. But I think we honestly, they probably just wanted to just get rid of Bamba, get a guy that's just they're gonna buy out Patrick Beverly probably. I just obviously they would rather have picks, second round picks, but the Blazers needed some sort of salary match, and I don't think we had it. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
We probably the Hart was probably like we had different deals for Hart. We probably had a Jetty Osman and something from the Cavs. We probably had a possibly Bamba, but we chose Reddish in the
I've
pick.
been
I gotta think we got the most valuable thing we could have gotten out of Hart.
I've been
Gotta
talking
trust him.
about too many mid players today.
I'm so glad the trade deadline's over now. It's been ever since the Hart trade. It's just been nonstop, just like chatter, and I'm just ready for these guys to come in uniform and the All-Star break just to take a little just
You
a
know what I'm
breather.
thankful for though? I'm thankful that the people on my Twitter timeline aren't the GM.
Facts. No, I actually wish they were because like if they were, we would have gotten KD and Kyrie for a second round pick and some chips. Like, let's
Yeah,
go.
honey in a honey bun.
They would have completely changed the rules of the NBA and
Yeah, we would have
allowed us to just bring them on just to bring them in.
freaking trade Kevin Durant for a Snickers bar and a lottery ticket.
Hmm, man. No, yeah, I wish they were the GM.
No.
But
Final thoughts.
final thoughts for me are Blazers did not get worse. The Blazers,
Got different,
they're, but I think honestly, just the Blazers didn't get worse, so I'm not mad at all. I'm happy that we got new faces in because like Hart was going to leave in the offseason. GP, as much as I loved the GP signing when it happened, it just never worked. It was never working for just some reason. Maybe GP was trying to sabotage for this very reason. I
I
can't
mean,
say
he
I've lost respect
literally
for GP, but like, come on, dog. Did you have
he
to
went
do
to
it?
Oregon State too.
Yeah.
Like that's what's
You
weird.
want to know I'm on a personal level? You remember the movie Draft Day?
Yeah.
And you remember how they didn't draft the like hotshot quarterback?
Oh,
Bo Callahan,
Bo Callahan.
and they ended up starting that quarterback that had been there and been working hard and play and
Drew
like
something.
speaking of Drew, I'm kind of like the silver lining of not getting a big is Drew Eubanks deserves to still play. If we had brought in a big and Drew Eubanks was just like sent away,
Bro, if we had brought in a big, bro, we honestly I was low key thinking is what I was thinking. Like in my head. I was like, we're gonna get Bomba or we're gonna get like Gafford or we're just gonna get a plug and play like starting center and Eubanks gonna back him up and we're just gonna like mysteriously like shut down Nurk.
I'm as much as like from a basketball standpoint, it would be great to have someone taller than Eubanks. From a personal level, Eubanks deserves to keep playing because he's played his
Look,
ass off.
if I was taking a test and I was gonna or sorry, if Joe Cronin just took a test and would give him a grade, I'm giving him probably a C plus for this deadline.
Yeah.
Like a 79.
You
Not
did
quite a
the
B,
you did the work, but you didn't like you didn't go above and beyond. And maybe that's because you couldn't do it.
which is definitely the answer.
You didn't have the pencil. You only had a pen, so you couldn't erase the mistakes that the last GM made. I'm trying to come up with a cool analogy, and I just can't.
Yeah, but yeah, I would give him a C plus because you're getting future assets, but you didn't make this team significantly better.
Yeah.
But like, what do you expect at this point? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The Blazers, in my opinion, I know Blazer fans, we love to overrate our players, but I feel like we have some decent assets. I mean, Ant obviously,
Look, hey,
Sharp
you want
obviously.
okay.
Dude, we were
No
starting
team,
Alfred
no,
Kamini
listen to
and
me.
Mo Harkless.
No team is just made through seeing talent and bringing them to the team. It is all about development. Like we have players on our roster that can be really good. Like Nasir Little. Like he's not always just hopefully he's not always just gonna be stuck as
Dude,
the bench
perfect
piece that can shoot the ball a couple times a game. He can
perfect
grow
example
in.
of that is the Grizzlies.
Exactly. Like for example, Desmond Bain. He wasn't that good or he was solid his first year and he turned up his second year. Mikal Bridges, when he was drafted, he was solid and he slowly grew over time. At some point, some of these Blazer players are gonna have to just become like just
It's
turn the
just
corner.
you go back to the elephant in the room, which is you're on a Dame timeline.
Yeah, you're on the Dame time.
But yeah, you're on a Dame timeline. So this process is this, and this is why it's really hard now for Joe Cronin because you have to, as a GM, you're always preparing for the future, but you're also trying to get better in the present. And he has to walk this ultra fine line of giving Dame an opportunity and not absolutely selling on the our future
Dude,
for the
to be a
next
fly
5
in the
years.
room or to have a 5 minute conversation of Joe just having complete honesty, oh my gosh, the amount of things. I wish I could have that just to, because I think I know what he's thinking. I just want to hear it from him.
Dude, I wish I was a fly on the wall for when he called the Raptors on OG. They would have been like Messiah would have probably been like, yeah, I'm looking for 3 firsts and Shane Sharp. Joe Cronin's
Yeah,
like probably like,
I'm
what the
looking for 49% stake in your franchise as well.
hey,
The 51 probably from him.
I think the Blazers are gonna go for it in the summer. I think we're gonna bring in another Jeremy Grant type player at the three.
I think summer is going to be big. But for now,
Like
we
low
this isn't like
key,
last season where the trade deadline was the final interesting thing of the season. We still got a playoff run to make.
nice.
Playoff push.
Like what are your thoughts on like in the summer going and getting Dorian Finney-Smith?
Makes the team better. Down for anything. I don't know. I got class, and so do you.
Yeah, I got class in like 30 minutes. So
Yeah. So
we should probably
that's our
wrap it up.
rapid, not actually not rapid and not really instant. That's our just initial kind of in-depth reaction to the trade deadline. Um, be civil in the comments if you don't agree with what Joe did, and if you don't like it, you can say it, but let's be civil. Let's keep it like you guys are on Instagram, not how you guys are on Twitter. So that'll
Man,
do it.
what a place.
Maybe we'll
What a
try to get
place.
Cody on the next podcast. We'll get Cody's reaction to the trade deadline, and we'll be back to our regularly scheduled podcasting on next
Hey,
next Wednesday.
at least no one on the back of that shirt left.
That's why those three are on the back. Those are the cornerstones, baby. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.